My name is Bill Stanuszek. I am interviewing Mildred Stanuszek, and I'm at 1010 West Broad Street. It's January 3rd, 1990, and it is exactly 6 o'clock, and I'm interviewing for Chesaning High School 10th grade honors class. All right, what do you remember about your first TV experience?
Oh, well, it was a big thing. We just never heard of it until around 1950, I'd say. The screens were real small, and all we had was a little kids movie, actually. There was nothing in the news, and that was really great, because we never had nothing else, you know. We never went anywhere, and so the TV was really a great thing to have. But we didn't have no long shows like we have now. Like we have stories, and mostly it was news and about the war, actually. That's about what.
Okay.
Most of it.
All right. Why did you buy a TV?
Because I guess everybody else had one. Well, I don't know. It was more for entertainment. We never had parties or ran around like kids do nowadays. We'd dancing and stuff, so that was a lot of entertainment for us.
Okay. What did the kids do when you got your first TV? Like your children? Yeah.
What did they do?
Yeah.
Well, you mean before or after? Or, I mean,
Well, right when you got it. Or
well,
even
they were
then.
all excited. That was a big thing for them. They'd sit there and watch it for hours. Mostly all little kids shows, that's all it was. And that's about all I can remember. Well, just like you kids get a car nowadays, that was really some big thing for them, you know. What else is there?
Just with everything, anything that pops in your mind about any of these questions you can say.
They always were excited with certain programs going. We used to all sit around there and watch it. And Howdy Doody Time and Clarabelle, I guess that's the one that clown is on there. And let's see what else. And Mickey Mouse. There wasn't anything like to compare what it is now. Like you have these modern shows and that. It's mostly all kids shows actually.
Okay. Can you describe your first TV you had?
Well, I don't know about the measure, but it was small. It wasn't no big TVs like you have now. It was nothing to compare what it is now. The screen was just like say 5x7 perhaps.
Okay.
Maybe a little bit bigger than that. Not much bigger.
All right.
It wasn't that modern looking either. It was just a box, and there was no floor model. Or was it? I don't remember anymore too much about it. But they weren't that nice, you know, and they weren't all that great either. I mean, the picture in it, just nothing but all black and white, never colored or nothing like this.
Okay. Any more to say about the TVs or any of the questions I've said so far? Anything to add on to any of those? You can tell stories or something that happened when you had yours or what the kids
Well,
did.
the biggest thing was the war. I mean, we'd watch the more in the news. My dad he'd sit there for hours listening to Roosevelt and mostly all about the war breaking out. And that's about but as far as stories, I mean, like they have soaps and that, I never heard of it.
Okay.
At least I didn't anyway at that time. Later on they started to have more and more. That was when the kids growing up. They started to jump from all directions, all the stories.
Okay, good. What types of shows did you like? Like, what shows did you like personally?
Well, somebody might laugh at it, but I think the best part was the news. I mean, about the war and how things are going over there overseas. And, let me see, Father Knows Best, I think was on. And a lot of Western, a lot of old-fashioned Western. Like Tom Mix and Buck Jones. That's
like Roy Rogers.
Roy Rogers, yeah. Roy Rogers.
They're a lot different from.
Oh yeah, they were. That was great though.
Yeah.
That was just about as as what these modern ones now.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What's the difference between TV of yesteryear and modern? The most different thing about it, or any difference?
Well, the other one wasn't so much, there wasn't so much murder and all this sex and crap that you had.
Yeah.
All that junk that we have on TV now. All we had was mostly all news, like I said, and good shows, clean, good shows. Well, these here are something else now. More,
Yeah.
you know,
More family shows.
more family shows they were. Now this is all drugs and murder and well, some of these shows some are good, but most of what you see on news is a lot worse than what we used to
Yeah.
have. Well, we had cleaner movies than what they are now.
Yeah.
We don't know too much about people either,
Mhm.
like we do now. But the young generation is more into the news than was years back. They seldom you hear about teenagers doing this or getting into drugs or all this dancing and stuff they have on TV. Never seen that stuff before.
Okay. Anything else to add onto that?
Oh, not really. I don't know if anything else.
Okay, if you think of anything, just tell me.
Of course, we know more about other people live in different towns, different states,
Mhm.
what happens, like train wrecks, airplanes, and stuff. Now we know more than we did in my time there. We never heard too much about it.
Yeah, thanks to satellites.
Yeah, they never, they did something, they never tell you anyway.
Good. What's your most memorable experience with TVs?
um, like I said, we like old-fashioned movies.
Do you have any like experience, like something happened to you while you're watching TV, or something funny happened?
Well, kids are really getting to fights over something. And Clara Bell, I mean, his dad was small, and Grandpa would come home and he'd see that and get so mad and watch that really scary movie of Clara Bell, you know, that what's the name? Howdy Doody Time.
Yeah.
That's what I'm told you. From Grandpa.
So there's quite a difference between Grandpa
Yeah.
and All right.
And, well, like I said, they enjoyed it. I did anyway, like the one stuff I really enjoyed that much. That's nothing experience. I was kind of wondering what the heck was going on on the other side of the world.
Mm-hmm.
But, I don't know. And it's another thing, you didn't have TV all night. You would come on a certain time of day and go off a certain time of night, not like it is all night, 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
So, about all right.
All right. What kinds of shows did they have back then?
Well, like I said, they had Western, they had comics, Buck Jones, Roy Rogers. That one mostly was all Western. And then they had Father Knows Best, and like I said, Clara Bell for the kids, and Mickey Mouse. Oh, what's her name? What do you call her? The one that talks to that little lamb.
I don't know. Yeah, no. Lamb one.
What's her name? We did a lot of fan talking.
The puppets.
Puppets, mostly all puppets. Puppet shows, that's what. I can't think of her name. She's the one with the Fran and Ollie. I guess that's what.
Okay.
So, it was cool, right?
Okay. That's good. What was it like seeing pictures on a TV for the first time?
Great. Boy, we thought we had something when we seen that. Well, we glued to that TV like you wouldn't believe. That's just like you kids when you go, say, you go to one of these big, what do you call big bands and stuff.
Yeah, concerts.
Concert, that was about, for us, it was just like a big concert for us. It wasn't a concert, but it was a great big thing like it would be for these kids nowadays. We really enjoyed that.
So that's what, like, really everybody wanted a TV.
Yeah, everybody sat. First we got one in the block, and we had all the kids come over. We had a regular, even people at night, in the evenings, I would say, when it was on. We'd have company. We never had come before, but then they found we had TV, and we had a lot of people come over. A lot of people that lived on a farm even heard of it.
Uh-huh.
They didn't know what TV was. We had folks had a lot of friends, and they used to come and visit. We had all the fire after they left their cows. They'd come in the evening and they all sit around and watch TV, and that was really great. So pretty soon, it wasn't too long before everybody started buying televisions. Of course, they cost an arm and a leg at that time. They weren't cheap, but
Yeah.
like you see on TV years ago, they'd show a picture and you see all these people, all the neighborhood coming in to see TV. That was the same thing like when we were kids. Well, I was young anyway.
Anything else?
And then eventually the TV got, years later, we used to have better pictures, but they weren't colored. Not for a long time. I don't remember the last time they were colored. But that was, boy, the farmers, they used to come in, boy, they really enjoyed it. And then they said, well, want to know what people, we got it, and pretty soon one had it, and then another one, and
So just word of mouth.
that, yeah, that was great for people. But, that was their entertainment for years before that. Never had TV. I mean, everybody got together, and every Sunday we had a whole bunch there. Didn't even know nothing about television. Of course, the television came in, so that was the end of it.
Yeah.
Everybody stayed home.
Yeah. That's why we have so much unemployment now.
Yeah. Right.
All right. How did the family react as a whole when you got TV? Like, how did everybody react?
Oh, everybody got excited.
Uh-huh.
That's just like buying a Cadillac nowadays, you know. Of course, you couldn't afford to buy a Cadillac, but boy, that was great. Kids were all happy. Boy, they couldn't wait to eat, wait till they had their supper and get the baths and all sit around and watch the TV. That was, we didn't have that much entertainment. That's the only thing we ever had. I mean, like I said, the kids didn't run uptown. They weren't walking the streets. They were all, everybody was home watching television. So, well, I TV, I don't know, their ideas are something different now. We had all the neighbors. A lot of people couldn't afford it. Go something like that was cheaper, but kids really didn't afford it. And all the neighbor kids in our neighborhood would always come over and watch the television. That was great fun. Entertainment for them. Didn't cost them nothing.
Should charge it down.
Yeah, I should have thought about
Could have bought one for each of them. All right. Did you have any people come over to watch TV, like parties or?
No, not really. We had parties and went. We shut it off. Like I said before, we had people come over and first got it, and then afterwards, like the farmers would come in and watch it. But there's no special day for it.
Okay. So the people came over to watch TV.
Yeah.
All right. What were the different stations like? Did you have many different stations?
Not very many. I think there was only, remember, I'm not sure. I think there's only about 2 stations is all. 2 or 3 perhaps. That was when it first came out. And I don't remember the name of them because I think one was for Detroit. I think there's only 2 is all we ever had.
Were they different ways and stuff? How were they different in ways?
Black and white.
Uh-huh.
And small, you know, the blow up on them were small. People were looked smaller anyway. You know, when you got a small screen, you're not going to see very much. So I think that's all we had was 2 stations, if I remember.
How were the 2 stations different compared to each other? The 2 stations, did they have how were they different?
Well, there wasn't much difference. All there was black and white. You couldn't tell one from another, actually. Like,
were some more interesting than the others? Or?
well, yeah. So, like I said, they had a child. They had plays for the kids, and the other one was more for news, and that's.
So, like one was for children and.
Right.
Okay.
That'd be just like they are now. You get certain stations, but you get certain stations, whatever. But there wasn't too much to pick from. But I'm not sure. It could have been more if somebody. I don't know if anybody. I can remember that had TV. I can tell you more about it, but that's all I remember.
Doing good. What were the TVs like back then? You know,
In the box.
Uh-huh.
And they said they were small. They
Yeah.
weren't. Oh, you're late. Remember, I don't know if you kids can remember the old-fashioned radios.
Uh-huh.
Used to stand off the floor.
Yeah.
It's that little box and like a little square, I would say.
Mhm.
Well, maybe a little bit bigger than 5 by. I said that I think once before. It might have been bigger than 5 by 7 or 8 by 10. The screen is about as big as you could get.
Were there like many different models, or just like one?
Yeah, they were rounded out. They were more to the top, like a radio, like the old-fashioned radios,
Mhm.
and the screen was on way to the top of it. You know, the radio would turn up, come down this way. You'd have it up there. The TV, the screen isn't down like it is now.
Mhm.
But just I said, it's an 8 by 10 picture, and what what we had. I might be wrong, but I think that's about as big as it was.
Were like the tubes came out, or were they like flat?
The tubes?
Yeah, you know, like how the tubes come
Inside
out.
the TV?
Yeah, like that too.
Oh, they were rounded. They were all round.
Okay.
Round, all kinds of glass tubes inside the darn thing.
Mhm.
I don't know how many. There was quite a few of them. They weren't built nothing like this. What they have all these little. What's inside of them now? That's all tubes in there. When one blew up, you had to go get a TV repairman, and he put in a new tube. And by the time you ended up, it just put probably 4 or 5 of them in it.
Mhm.
But there's all tubes in there. There was no, what do you call these little gizmos right now? I can't remember. There isn't any tubes in these at all.
Yeah.
What do you call them? Yesterday.
Okay. What type of shows did the kids like a lot? I didn't really.
Like I said, Cookie Fran Dolly and
Uh-huh.
and Western Cowboy. That's all you had to pick from. You had no choice. It's either the Western or then they start having family pictures. Like I said, that Father Knows Best, and there was another one, but I can't remember what that's. Oh, The Shadow.
Mhm.
Dark Shadow. No, that was that Dark Shadow. That was one that. Yeah. But I said it was Tom Mix, Buck Jones, all the old Westerns.
Mhm.
So that's about all we had. We didn't have much choice. There wasn't too much advertisement either, like it is on TV now.
Mhm.
You got about 10 minutes advertising, and over there I think it was, you'd see one commercial, and then they'd show the picture, and they just keep cutting back and forth. But there was like, you had 4 or 5 commercials watching this program, you didn't have that. There was that. Of course, not everybody wasn't tuned into that just yet, so TV just started coming out then.
Good. How did you come about getting a TV?
Well, my dad, he was a tailor,
Mhm.
and he's good friends of Wirtz's. I think my dad bought it from Wirtz. I don't remember. I think it was a TV. They just started coming to Chesley. And of course, the businessmen, got together, and my dad heard about it, and so went to look at it, and he said, "Oh, that's a good deal," So got a good deal from his friend.
Yeah.
That's the first one that we had. I don't know about the rest of the people in town where it came from, but that's what he bought here in town. Sometimes I wish I had that old thing.
Getting a pretty price for it.
Yeah, well, you're kidding. Yeah, I still remember it. Just a small picture, round out cabinet. Looked like a radio, actually. Nothing like there now.
How did you feel about getting a TV?
Great. We never had to have no cars, no other entertainment, they only did show. And we were lucky to go to a show once a month or so this was a big thing for us. That's just like, of course you couldn't afford to go to the show all the time, so you had this TV to watch all the time. Of course I couldn't watch it all the time, I could only watch it in the evening when we first, before Dad and your dad had came along. But when I was girl, I had chores to do, and I looked forward to watching television. Of course, when your dad and your uncle came along, that was good entertainment for me when I got a little older to understand. They weren't fighting all the time. They were all fighting. But that was great for me.
Where did you first hear about TV?
My dad, he come back from town one day, he's telling my mother about television. My mother didn't know what he was talking about, and he's trying to explain to her to see it over to in the store. So it was a big thing, so his dad said, "Boy, I think we'll try that." So we brought it home, the guy brought it, and man, that was really a big thrill when it first turned on. It was really exciting, you know, go over to see people, see different things that's going on in this world. That was great.
Yeah.
That was the biggest excitement I had in all my whole life.
Yeah.
It was, really. We never got around to do anything. I mean, like I said, we didn't have cars. We didn't have no other entertainment. Well, I had entertainment. I had to work, you call that.
Yeah.
All the neighbor kids, gee, when they found out we had TV, they were all bent out of shape.
And they wanted one themselves.
Yeah. They had been there 24 hours and we kicked them out.
It's like, she has one, so let's get one.
Yeah. Well, nobody could afford it. Too many people could afford it then. I mean, later on it got a little cheaper, you know. It's just like when this big TV first came out, it cost about $900-800. Well, they got a little bit cheaper, but still they're expensive.
Yeah.
That type of thing's expensive for us anyway. I don't remember the price my dad paid though. Could have been maybe $100 at that time. That was a lot of money for us. But I'm not sure. You could probably put somebody else on that.
Yeah.
Let me tell you.
Or anything else to add to that? Or
Not that I know.
okay, I'm doing good. What was it like when TV switched to color?
I don't remember that too well.
Like, how did everybody react in the household?
Oh, that was great.
Uh-huh.
I think it was a little different than black and white. Yeah, we've had it for years, and then when they started announcing that they're going to have black or colors, that was really great. You know yourself that you see once in a while they show you black and white TV, and you wonder, or even a movie, you go see a movie black and white, how different it is, and especially in color. That was seemed the colors bring the reality more into it than in black and white. You could seem to, how could I put it? It was more alive and I don't know. It was just great.
Yeah.
That's all I could say. That's just like, say black and white. It just didn't do nothing, you know, for anybody to get excited about. But boy, when you came to that color, that really got everybody all bent out of shape. Me, anyway. The kids. That was great. What else? I think that's about it, Bill.
Okay. What about the commercials? What was like the difference between commercials back then and now?
Not too many commercials. Not like that. Well, they had maybe, they had commercials, but they were not on one right after another. You'd have one, and there'd be a movie, and maybe 20 minutes later there'd be another commercial. But they weren't as many commercials as they are nowadays. I don't know what their commercials were. Like, let's see, what? Yeah, I don't remember what the heck the commercials were. There was advertising soup, and advertising clothes, cars.
Of course, car commercials, they've always...
Similar to what they have now, but they weren't that many at a time. You know, like we have, you know how many, sometimes you caught 8-9 commercials before you get the regular movie. Well, that was maybe one or two maybe. And they show the movie at the end, there'd be another one, but nothing what they have nowadays. But they were advertising bread and farm equipment and stuff like more farm equipment and more for farmers than it was for what we have now. You know, we got cars and a lot more farmers at that time too. More like it's tractors and trucks and whatever you had. That's about all I know.
Okay, that's good. A couple more questions. Like, what's the difference, like, to get the TV repaired back then, what's the difference in price-wise, or is it the same, or is it...
No. Well, see, them years back, they repaired. They cost us $5. But that was about as like it is,
Yeah.
say, $20, $35, $40 nowadays. It wasn't too often that we had repaired though, and they were pretty good make. They held up pretty good. It wasn't too often we had to have repairing that. I think they got wore out more than they did get repaired. You know, of course the screens are, like I said, smaller, and there wasn't quite too much to them like they are nowadays. They weren't that expensive. Well, they were expensive, but not to what it compared what it is nowadays. You didn't have them that much to fix up in much one.
Okay. When TV first came out, were like people really wanted one, or were they kind of like optimistic? They didn't really want to go out and buy one yet until they found out really what it was.
I think mostly people want to see them first. They used to have a TV in the store uptown and in the windows, and people would stand around and watch it. When there'd be an election, people didn't have television. They'd go uptown, like, see, Wednesday nights we used to have things going on. That was a big night here in Chesterton for Wednesday night. We used to have band on and plays airplanes. And they'd have a TV in the windows, and people would stand around and watch that. And so everybody got enthused about it, so pretty soon there was one TV and after another, and people started to buy it. And it got to be, well, just like it is nowadays. Well, it's a big deal, you got a TV. That was a big thing for a lot of people to buy. That was I see Christmas people for our kids, for presents or something, well, that would be for the whole family. That was really something, you know, my TV. So then it gradually just got bought more and more, and after a while, it just got like everything else. Just everybody had one, and then they started getting bigger and bigger pictures, and they were black and white for quite a while. Then when they got bigger, then they started getting color in. But I don't remember how many years ago before they got color, but it was a long time ago.
It's good. Yeah, I didn't ask you. I should have wrote it down.
Maybe your dad could help you too. I mean, he might remember more than I do.
You're doing no good though.
I hope.
They didn't have any game shows back then or anything, or
Billy, I don't remember. I don't think so. If they were, these were mostly, like I said, these little, like, see those Mickey Mouse where they move fast? You ever see them on TV where they, the old-fashioned Mickey Mouse and black, they were all black and white, and they were real fast. But I said mostly, like I said, it was a Western, and let's see. They started coming in with more stories later on, but that was when this TV started getting bigger in color.
yeah.
But when the kids were small, when your dad was small, they were nothing but Clara Bell and news. Because at that time there was war and stuff, so that was mostly up war. But I don't remember much after that. Not too much of that.
Good. Good. How is the picture different, like the reception different from now? I mean, from yesteryear and now, these days?
Well, this day and age is about 100 or 1,000% better than what we had. Like I said, you had 8x10 picture, black and white, and fast-moving pictures. And if you're noticed once in a while, you'll see an old-fashioned movie on TV right now, how fast the horses run and the cowboys fall off it too quick. Well, that was nothing compared to what it is nowadays. People are brighter looking and more slow-moving action, let's put it that way. And the other one's real fast action.
Were there like lines in the screen and stuff?
No, they're pretty clear at times. It depends on the station. We were like, I remember, we only had two or three stations to go on. And once in a while they got snowy. You know, they didn't get snowy. The reception was, we had radios. That's the only way you could get it in. If you didn't set your radios just right, then you'd be all snow and the reception would be worth nothing.
So like when you had bad weather, it was hard to get pictures in.
It depends on what area you are in too. If you were in the area where it was wide open, it wasn't too bad. But you got in here, well, we live right, you know, of course I didn't have black and white TV in here at all. But still, the reception was not that good like it is now. You know, all that built-in antennas and all that stuff like you have now. So, that's about it. Yes.
Okay, I'm curious. Did you ever watch the cartoon Felix the Cat? That cat cartoon.
Yeah, I
Like the
used
first
to
thing.
watch that. Yeah, that's right. They did have him.
It was like the first cartoon.
Yeah, that was great.
Uh-huh.
And there was another one. Felix the Cat. And, other one. It mostly was it was like about the little mice and cats.
Uh-huh.
That's about all that was. Oh, they had dragons, pretending those dragons, you know, you like to see, that's all I can think of. Clarabelle.
Uh-huh.
That's mostly what we always saw on television.
Yeah.
So we didn't have nothing what we have now. So, no stories. I mean, love stories or anything like that. There's too much of that. Like I said, the TV stars start coming out. So.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly the kids and war story cowboys. That's about all I remember.
Okay, what was the average time for a show? Like average time for the program?
Oh, maybe half hour.
So were there ever like long movies or?
Well, oh wait a minute. If there was a great movie, it would last 2 days. They extended from one day. Like you go to the show, like we were Gone with the Wind. You see that when we were here in town. Here we go see a movie. Then we'd see it one night, next time we had to go see the other half. Well, they would be on television. It would take maybe sometimes 2 or 3 days before you got done with one movie. So that's all I remember. But I don't know what the name of the movies were.
Okay, I don't want to put you on the spot or anything in this question, but like, how far did they go to love scenes or whatever back then? Or?
Nothing what they are now.
They
were nice. I mean, they're just like you hug your mom, or they weren't. You see anybody stripping or taking their clothes off like you do on these. This is real clean. These were clean movies, really. I said there was nothing sexy about the Western. There was nothing sexy about any of the movies that I had seen anyway. They were all clean pictures. They were nothing what they are now. That was pretty good. Anyway, too bad they don't go back to that stuff.
Yeah.
But you gotta go with the flow, you know?
Yep. Time will tell.
Yeah. You never saw any of that stuff.
Yeah.
In fact, I don't think they invented anything like that. I'll tell you one. We used to watch, what's her name, that little actress, she had that curly hair. Shirley Temple. We used to watch her a lot. That was a great show. That we really liked that. You see practically all, and we saw Shirley Temple, and we see Amos and Andy. That was a big thing. Of course, you heard that on television or on radio. Then we got into it on radio, Amos and Andy. But Shirley Temple was a big thing for her. That's a real nice show. And then they used to show Uncle Tom's Cabin. And then you'd see, what's his name? He was, we used to go to Alaska. What the heck was that? What was his name? Oh, he used to go and take his dog. He'd go across the Great Divide. He was just dressed up like a Canadian. Anyway, that was a big show. They showed sled dogs, and then these guys would get into, they would be in Alaska, they'd fight over something, they'd find gold, and they'd run their dogs across there, and they'd get lost. And that was like a series. They started a series of that. And that was good. Of course, we enjoyed it. I mean, now they think we're out there. Yeah, do nothing.
Okay, I'm just looking through my notes.
Sergeant something, but I can't remember his name.
Okay. Do you remember anything about Gene Autry or any of the other stars?
Yeah. He was a great cowboy. He was a big hero. Everybody liked him. Just like you guys like your certain music. Gene Autry, Roy Rogers. Tom Mix. He was a great. Yeah, then this guy had that black up there. Gene Autry, Tom Mix, Buck Jones, Roy Rogers. Those are the biggest. Most, like I said, we're more Western than was anything else.
Okay, can you tell me anything about Arthur Godfrey's talent show,
Yeah.
or Toast of the Town with Ed
right.
Sullivan?
That come right to when you mentioned that. That was a big thing. We used to watch that practically every night. That was just like to have, what's his name? He had that talent show. He discovered Elvis Presley. What was his name? Now I can't remember his name.
Ed Sullivan.
Ed Sullivan. Well, Godfrey was just about like Ed Sullivan. He brought in different people at talent shows, and they'd win it, and that was good. I don't remember. I think we did have one game, was a game show, with some kind of a clock game, but I don't remember the name of it or anything. I have no idea. But then they started coming in with more, like I said, as the TV advanced, everything else on television, you had more game shows, more stories, just like it is now. Well, not just like it is now, but I mean, he started to. As far as I remember. Yeah, he was good.
You remember Milton Berle? Or?
Yeah, I remember him too. He was a comedian.
Mm-hmm.
We enjoyed watching him. Like I said, it started coming, everybody's coming in now, you know. Ed Sullivan, and he came in. And I still remember Ed Sullivan was still on black and white TV. That's when he discovered a lot of these things about Elvis Presley. That was all in black and white though yet.
Yeah.
That was,
Okay, do you remember anything about the Texaco Star Theater?
not really.
Okay.
Was that some kind of entertainment, but I don't know what it was. There was a more kids movie or something maybe? I don't know. I can't remember that one.
Okay, you did real good. Thank you for.
Oh, you mean you got it all?
Yep.
I hope it
Well,
helps
if you think of anything, I'll just put it on pause right now.
Well, that Texaco, that used to be a lot of advertising. But
Yeah.
I don't remember what they were advertising, what kind of shows they had. We could bring it up. But like I said, Ed Sullivan was a big hit. And, I'll tell you who else. Remember the Marx Brothers?
Well,
They were great too. The deaf one, and used to watch him. And his brother, one always had a cigar in his mouth. He was a main attraction on television too. That used to be a thing every Sunday, or well, he was on one day a week anyway. And I think probably remember, I probably can remember quite more.
No.
Yeah, that was the main too, because he'd bring on different people. That'd be just like entertainment, you know, like what they could do. And I can't remember his name. That's Sullivan, or not Sullivan, but he had a cigar, you know, he had his big
Groucho Marx.
Yeah, he had his brothers on it. They do a lot of entertainment too. That all started to come in later on, but it's still black and white for years. Not that I know of. Yeah, all I said is just like you told when you start mentioning different. Like Orphan Annie. Oh God, we used to watch. Oh, Orphan Annie was a big hit too. Years ago too. You'll have them all. That's all. Mostly it was all kids. Orphan Annie and Groucho Marx and I don't know if anything more of it. These are different. I tell you, we get a lot of information. I don't know if they had to be in the library, wouldn't it?
Yeah, we already did a lot of research
did ya?
on. Yeah.
Is anything too much about television there?
Oh, well, yeah, I found a lot of information.
And the news was a big thing too, because that time there was a war. And that was real interesting. I mean, we don't have nothing that we have nowadays, these kind of movies. And late at night, the thing went off, I think around Our TV, I think, used to shut off around 10 o'clock at night, if I'm not mistaken. It never ran no long. It never, at night, never handled 24-hour television.
Yeah.
It would come on a certain time in the morning and would go off a certain time at night. Not like it is now, you know.
Yeah.
So, that was that. That's all I know, hon.
Okay, well, thanks for letting me
You're
interview.
welcome. Mom and Dad can pick you up. It would show like on news, you know, where Germany, what was it they were fighting that time?
Japan.
No, was it Germany?
Uh-huh.
The V, what do you call it?
Oh, Victory at Sea.
Victory
yeah.
at Sea, we seen that.
Uh-huh.
Shows sinking boats, airplanes crashing, and then when the Japs, is that, when the Japs hit Pearl Harbor, that was really something. We used to, when they had that on, we used to hear that they'd have you could have lights in your house, you know, you'd have to close your curtains because they'd bring Japs to come on when they hit Pearl Harbor. They figured they were going to fly over here and just
So you first heard about it on TV then?
yeah, and then they'd warn people, be on there, close all your drapes, no light shining at night. You couldn't have, the whole town was dark. You couldn't have light street lights or anything, but we didn't have that. We didn't have the street lights then anyways. They one here and
Yeah.
it goes one the other one, but that was a great thing, not great, but that was kind of scary to tell you about the war and who getting killed and blowing us all up, and afraid that they're going to come over here and blow it here because we were building all these airplanes and all these bombs and everything. We figured they'd come over here and blow us up with it. So that was always more on them than anything else when the war first broke out. Let's see what else. And you didn't hear somebody getting murdered like you do on television. You don't see nothing. We never saw any of that. You'd see only thing would be in the news if somebody was shot or something, but nothing. Maybe once in 2 or 3 months you hear somebody getting killed. You know, somebody got shot or something, but nothing like you have now. And we didn't see that on TV. This one was killed. They show it on TV. Carry your body up. Never saw none of that stuff on television. Until later, as TV got bigger and more competitive. But mostly it was nice. You didn't know what the heck was going on until things started getting bad. You'd think things would exist that long. You know, there's so much of that stuff in this world. Like it isn't wrong. All these diet things like they show on TV, never saw none of that stuff. And I'll tell you who else was good. Lucy. She started to come in. That was a great show. That was really something. Lucy and Bob Hope. He was not that much. Lucy was like a series, you know, like we have. That was on every night. We'd watch her. Lucille Ball, yeah. That started to be a series. And then, what else?
Can you just let me flip it over, okay?